Very good. The display is very good. Often the largest growth is in the back with all the children and the grandchildren in the front, as I was explained to you once. This is a very good example of that. The only small flaw I can see in this is the moss mound is a little bit shifted to the left. Not really a big deal. The overall presentation is what we were looking for here. And that was the only part that I would probably just... And it probably was right. Probably just moved in transport. So there we go.
Sorry, Jason, can you also face us?
Oh, sorry.
Maybe not everything else, but it's facing all the front of the plants and then front of the pot, and then tag is all is on the front, and it's very important to show it like that.
Yeah, so we saw a couple plants that are backwards. So just with that point, I'll explain one. So here we have this Rhino Hikari. This is the way it's facing, the label, the foot. But actually, the largest growth is facing you. This is the back side. We want it to be this way, this would be the front. So what we would actually do is move it like this, move the label on the other side. And this is the presentation we're looking for. Another thing you can do with your plants is use the skewers to make the growth completely horizontal. And once you put a skewer in to hold the leaves in place, you only need to leave it about 3 to 4 weeks and take it out. It should be readjusted. So they train quite quickly. For our fourth place winner, we have Oe Maru no Shima. If you were here earlier this morning listening to my first talk, I was talking about how this was originally considered the king of all variegated neos, and it still has very good rank and value. The variegation on this is much better than normal Oe Maru no Shima. So it's known for robust leaves, but in this case also excellent variegation. So for third place we have Koen. This is a very difficult variety to grow well, and this is grown very well. It's known for heavy red variegation, ruby red root tips, also known for not producing very good root systems. I would guess, even though I can't see inside here, the roots are probably quite decent. But when I say quite decent, sometimes it only means about 2 to 3 inches long, because it just doesn't produce roots very well. But the size of the plant is very good, balance is very good. It's really, really nice.
I think the color of the plant and the pot is very, very nice.
Bit of contrast from the white to the dark. That's nice as well. There was an old man in Japan told me the pot is often the most overlooked part of the plant. A lot of people choose the wrong pots. I won't go into how to choose the pots, but he was just saying he felt that even the Japanese weren't choosing the right pots. Very strange. For second place, we have Banko Maru. This we chose because, of course, very good presentation, but very dense growth. More than Mr. Kasa has actually ever seen with this variety, so that's a very good comment. The only small flaw would be the top growths are not matching the size of the bottom growths. Not necessarily a flaw, but probably this happened because of cultural conditions. But I would say within 1 to 2 years, this plant will be very evenly balanced. Once all the growths grow at the even pace they're going at, it'll be very nice. But this is a plant you can look at from all directions and see dense foliage and very even, consistent variegation. It's really a nice plant. And for first place, we chose Kidaio. This is an Amami variety, which is the largest type of Neo. Really a fantastic presentation here. Very large plant, tall growth, lots of leaves, which are uncommon to have taller growths holding lots of leaves. One of the important things about choosing the first place winner is looking at the entire plant and trying to find flaws. It's very normal to find little nicks, little brown spots on the leaves. There aren't any on this plant, that I've seen at least. We looked.
Tried.
Yeah. And even the beauty of the buds before they're open. You'll often see plants in Japan being awarded at this exact stage as well. In a very nice pot to complement it. Just everything about it, overall balance, we thought would be number one. And then we'll also have to get the sheet so we can read off the winners now. We don't know everybody, so we'll maybe if Carol can grab us that.
Oh, okay. Well, I can tell you.
Take your time, or if you want.
We know you can tell.
I can tell you 4 of them. I don't know whose this is. Whose is this?
Which one?
Number
Yeah.
4.
Mary.
Mary's.
Mary Mancini.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
This is George's, right? George
Okay.
over here.
yeah, George.
Josh.
We didn't get to clap for Mary.
See, we can grow them in Louisiana. This is Josh.
Not because Satomi is his girlfriend.
Oh, it's
This is Peter Lynn.
Peter Lynn. Never heard of this guy before, but
Ted Lee.
that's why we.
Reigning king.
This is our goal, everybody. We gotta beat this guy. He's trying to be as good as him.
Well, just take that home with you and bring it next year.
How much?
I gotta Satomi, you wouldn't believe how inexpensive that plant is.
Tell us the
still on
story.
it.
When did you get this?
4 years ago.
4 years. How big was it?
About like this.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
2 growths. 4 years ago, 2 growths. So we're going to do a few more pointers while we were looking at plants, and a few more compliments while we were looking at plants. So, this Tamakongo is very, very good. It's the closest Jim Rose has come to getting on the top 5. Yes. It's the best he's done. The only small flaws are old stems have not been trimmed off. That's a plus. So make sure you just a small pruning shears and get down towards the axis. When a plant is this big and well balanced, one flower spike can take away from the
Better to
overall
remove
plant.
it, huh?
Better to remove that flower spike. If there was a few buds, maybe it's better that way, but in flower I would remove the flowers. Otherwise, it's really a nice Tamakongo. We really, really like this Nangoku no Mai. This is better than most Nangoku no Mai because it has a lot of pink in the flowers, and the flowers are very tight and round. Nangoku no Mai often could be elongated and predominantly white. So this is a really, really good example.
And it was very smart that he trained the flower like this so that I can stay up.
Flower spike was trained, yes.
Yes, and so it's very important to do that.
Yep.
So
For the bloom season, you can simply put the stake to pull or move the stem the direction you want to balance it into. And it only takes a few days. You can pull out the stake and it's been trained. So flower stems are also something the Japanese will train and balance.
Very exciting to see a couple of years later how this plant's get.
Yeah, this is a good contender for a future top 5 spot. Really nice plant. Here we have a Kinko Nishiki. This is a very good example. Nice big plant, few flaws. So, unfortunately, there were some leaves that had to be removed. But more than that, we were talking about the balance of the variegation. So we have a cluster of green growths here. This plant is known for variegation, so what you should do when you have a plant like this, it's getting a bit out of control, so when you repot, you could remove the green growths and bring the balance back to the overall growths with variegation different levels of variegation. I would say you could probably remove this entire section right here of green, and then train the leaves. The leaves are becoming a bit out of order, so use your skewers, bring them back like this. And it takes a while. Some of the plants this size that I've trained end up with about 50 skewers in them. But they look fantastic.
When you remove them.
Yeah, when you remove them, they look great. Even with them in, you can already start to see the difference. So those are the recommendations we have if you have a plant that gets to this size.
So if you remove the skewers, it will stay that way for a little bit. Will it go back to its old form?
Over time, new leaves will move. The old leaves tend to stay that way once they've been trained. They don't really move too much after that. So it's best to do it early on, as the plant is developing. And then you don't have to worry about doing it all at once. And growths that have already crashed into each other, sometimes you have to work them apart. It takes more work.
But I was a year ahead of myself because of
So this is Kurogane, also a fantastic plant, really good balance overall. Flowers are starting to fade, that was a small negative point from it. Actually the main, because most of the flowers have past peak with the exception of one new spike. So in this case, overall would have been better without the flowers. But again, very good balance, very well grown.
And the roots are nice.
Nice thick roots, yes. Good display of root systems as well.